Ladies and gentlemen, what do we all think of when we think of our European Union as citizens of the EU? The first thing that come to mind are the values of freedom, openness to the world, and civil rights. A continent that for decades, even centuries, was torn apart by terrible wars has, since the European Union came into existence, been transformed into an area of the future and found peace. For many of us, it has become a space without borders, a space of self-realization that none of us would want to miss. And indeed, the European Union has paved new paths for all of its citizens that seemed unthinkable just a few decades ago. We have all evolved together with the EU and its opportunities. It was the European Union that showed us all the new dimensions in international understanding and perspectives for living together in peace and trust. This was also for a long time my personal and only understanding of the European Union. Unfortunately, however, which I personally find most regrettable, this area of freedom, openness to the world, and civil rights has changed more and more in a considerable way in recent years. Whereas it used to be about defending citizens' digital freedoms and informational self-determination, we currently find ourselves more strongly than ever in a union that does not maintain an appropriate balance between security interests and civil liberties, but instead strives ever more strongly in the direction of a security union. This is also the case with his latest proposal for the introduction of Europe-wide chat control, which will herald a definitive paradigm shift in European security policy, should it come to that. For what is planned is nothing less than the monitoring of the digital communications of millions of European citizens, tantamount a general suspicion in the digital space directed against every citizen. In the face of the scale of such an initiative, all other legislative measures taken to date in the area of state security and surveillance pale to insignificance. Even the debate about data retention, which has been raging for years in the whole European Union, is harmless in comparison to chat control, because the former only concerns the storage of traffic data, but not the actual content of communications. Also, the European Union's initiative was immediately followed by fierce opposition from civil society, academia, and public associations. The chat control triggered a political process of undermining digital rights that is unlikely to be stopped, at least in medium term, in my opinion. For too long, the European Commission has been observing the creeping development from a civil rights union that weighs up the interests to a security union that argues and acts in an increasingly absolute manner and sees encrypted communication not as a means of protecting privacy, but as a threat to public safety. The motto and political understanding here is obviously more and more in the uncertain times we find ourselves in, it is necessary to govern with an ever stronger hand. And this is sad. Sad because apparently even the European Union no longer has any confidence in our legal system and is obviously of the opinion that only an omniscient technocratic state is still capable of ensuring law and order. It is also sad because the political idea behind chat control alone means that we are already living in a system that is characterized by profound mistrust of its own citizens, whose free decisions legitimizes the existence of this system in the first place. Ultimately, the whole political situation which we are currently facing on European level is about much more than just chat control. With this project, the very existence of the European Union, as we have known it so far, is at stake. We should all ask ourselves whether we really want to live in a union of states in the future that disregards fundamental and increasingly important digital rights in this way. And after all, even the EU is aware that digital asceticism is no longer an option in today's times if you really want to participate successfully in social and professional life. The more valuable the data that can be obtained through measures of state surveillance is, the deeper and more violating is the official intrusion into our private and intimate sphere. For the undisturbed and free development of the individual personality, everyone needs places of retreat, where the confidentially spoken word is valid and people can rely on it. This is a human right. This is why what happens now in the European Union is so crucial. Because if the European Commission succeeds with its legislative proposal, the door will be opened to digital mass surveillance in the future. On the one hand, this is because, compared to chat control, almost every other surveillance measure that has been discussed in the past seems like a milder intervention. And on the other hand, because the value and quantity of the stored data obtained through chat control means that it is only a matter of time before someone gets the idea of using the private information for other purposes than for those they have been originally stored. Everyone who cares not only about digital privacy, but also about preserving our European order of values in the sense of a European Union that respects freedom, openness to the world, and civil rights, is called upon to act now in the face of this current development before it is too late. Thank you very much for your attention.